It's the longest in American history that we've gone without a recession. It's a very long time. Doesn't mean it has to go, we have to have a recession, but we always have. And I see the various signs that something is going to go wrong soon. I mean, we see everybody thinking the same way. We think a lot of new investors coming in who think that this is easy and fun to make money. So, I mean, all the signs are there. Maybe it won't happen this time, but it always has. The signs are rising that we're going to have problems again. And, in 2008, we had a big problem. But since 2008 and 2009, the debt everywhere has skyrocketed. So the next recession, my view is the next recession has to be worse, the worst in my lifetime, because the debt is so very much higher now than it has been ever before in my lifetime. Who knows? But I know the debt has skyrocketed. Even China has a lot of debt now. China bailed us out in 2008, but even China's got debt. Everybody has debt. Well, maybe North Korea doesn't have debt, but everybody else has a lot of debt. So it's got to be bad. The way these things work is it always starts in some place that no one pays attention to. In 2007, Iceland went bankrupt. Well, most people didn't know there was an Iceland, much less that it could go bankrupt. But then over the next several months, things got worse and worse. Bear Stearns went bankrupt, Lehman went bankrupt, and then everybody knew something was wrong. That's the way it usually works. So far, we've had a few minor problems in the world, nothing major yet, but when it's major and it's on the evening news, then we all know. I think I know what's going on. I see all the same problems developing that you see, but so far none of them has been big enough to cause us to have a serious problem. And so far, central banks have very loose policies. If you go to Tokyo, my gosh, you can't believe how much money the Japanese central bank is printing and spending and borrowing. And that's true of other central banks as well. So there's a lot of money around at the moment, and I don't know what's going to cause it to stop and when it's going to stop, but I know it is. And I know many of the signs that I have seen before are starting to develop. I'm not selling short yet. No. I don't see the bear market starting this afternoon. I can see signs that it's coming. Everybody thinks that this is okay, that everything is okay now, that even you see lots of good things happening, and I see those things happening too. You see lots of new investors coming in. They call up their friends and say, oh, I've discovered this new thing called the stock market, and you can make money, and it's fun, and it's easy. It's easy to make money. All of these things have happened before. You have a narrow band of stocks that are always going up. I mean, I've seen this rodeo before. I promise you we're going to have a big bear market before 2034, and it's going to be extremely serious. Probably before 5 years, maybe even this year. This year's an election year, as you pointed out, in many countries, and politicians always want to keep people happy. So politicians around the world are going to be doing their best to make us all happy and keep economies strong and stock markets strong. But there comes a time when it gets out of control, and not even the central bankers or the stockbrokers or anybody can control them. And I'm afraid that I see the signs that we're getting, not there yet, but I see the signs that will probably come in the next year or so. At the moment, I have a lot of cash, and the cash is in U.S. dollars mainly. I have other currencies, but mainly U.S. dollars because, the U.S. dollar is not a sound currency anymore. We're the largest debtor nation in the history of the world. But everybody thinks it's a sound currency, and they think it's a safe haven. So when problems come, people race to a safe haven. They think it'll be the U.S. dollar. I would suspect the U.S. dollar will go up, will get overpriced. I hope if it happens that way that I'm smart enough to sell it. Your question should now, but where will you put the money? And I don't know. I don't know what currency is going to compete with the U.S. dollar in the future. Obviously, logically, it should be the Chinese renminbi, but the renminbi is a blocked currency. You cannot have a blocked currency as the world's major currency. So I don't know. I'm looking. I own gold. I own silver. I have for many years. I've never sold any gold or silver. Don't plan to. I hope that my children have my gold and silver someday. But yes, historically, gold and silver have been refuges in times of problems. And I'm an old peasant. So old peasants want to have some gold in the closet. Look under my bed. You'll find some silver. Look in my closet. You'll find some gold. I'm an old peasant. And us peasants know how to protect ourselves. I haven't added recently, but if and when they go down a lot, I hope I'm smart enough to buy more. If I were buying one right now, and I'm not, it would be silver, because silver is down 60% from its all-time high. Gold is at an all-time high. So on a historic basis anyway, silver's cheap. Maybe I'll buy some tomorrow. I mean, who knows? Well, I'm not sure why silver hasn't kept up. It is a little perplexing, but that usually means there's an opportunity. And unless there's something I don't know, and it's often something I don't know, but unless there's something I don't know specific to silver now, I don't know why silver is not. These things happen in markets. They've been happening for hundreds of years, and they will continue to happen. So maybe tomorrow I'll go buy some silver. I don't have much confidence in the U.S. central bank or any central bank. The U.S. has had a couple of good central banks in the past 100-odd years. India had a good central bank chairman once, but most central bankers are bureaucrats and academics. They're just trying to keep their job. They don't know what they're doing. And the way markets work, you said inflation is down a little bit. Well, that's markets go up, they correct, they go up, they correct. This is the way markets always work. And that's what's happening with inflation now. We're having a normal correction. I would suspect that we will see more inflation later this year, especially if the Fed cuts rates. Historically, when the Fed starts cutting rates, markets go down because they know, that's what we've been waiting for. You buy on the rumor, you sell on the news. So that's normally when the central banks start cutting rates, that's when markets go down, at least for a while. Central banks all around the world have printed unbelievable amounts of money in the last few years, a couple of years, huge amounts of money. As I said, Japan, the central banker goes to work early every morning because he's a good central banker, good Japanese, and cranks up the printing presses. You can't believe how much money they're printing in Japan and other countries. Maybe the U.S. has slowed down for a while, but when things start going wrong, if they start going wrong, or when they start going wrong, in Washington, they're going to print more money. That's all they know. They don't know what else to do. I'm optimistic about gold and silver and other commodities, as I explained before. I have no idea why silver's down so much. You can tell me why silver's down, but it is down nearly 60% from its all-time high. That's not a bubble. I assure you, that's not a bubble. Maybe gold is a bubble. I doubt it, but maybe. But silver is certainly not a bubble. At times, when people are looking for cash, they sell whatever they can sell. And since agriculture has been reasonably strong, it's down now, but compared to what it could have been, all I can answer is people are selling it because they want to raise money, but I don't have a good answer. Cannot tell people what to do, but agriculture is probably a good investment opportunity in 2024. I think that's probably a wise investment. Certainly, 10, 20 years from now, somebody's going to look back and say, wow, he was really smart. Whether he's buying it in the U.S. or Australia or Canada, wherever it is, they're probably good investments. Agriculture has not been a great investment for a while. And as I said before, I know your parents taught you to buy low and sell high. Maybe Mr. Gates knows what he's doing. It's certainly low. Unfortunately, small independent farms have usually not been terribly competitive. They've not been great investments, great places for agriculture to be produced or anything else. History shows that if you can roll up or make big farms, you're probably going to be more successful.